Yeah, Mitsubishi Pajero Montero fuel pump removal. Yeah, basically after removing the bits that sit at the front, including the compressor that sits down there and the steering box pump that sits right here, and another unit that sits here, and the plate that covers this spindle here, obviously all of those come off. After those have come off, you're only left with two bolts to move. This one here, this bolt here, which sits right in the center there, and another bolt that is this one. It's a 14. It's very tight right behind the starter motor. The starter motor is right there, this one here, and the bolt is right there on that plate where the wire is. That's where the bolt is. Obviously those connectors there, the threads you see, are the injector fuel lines. Yeah, but down below there where the cable is where the that's where the bolt sits. So you need to move that bolt using a ratchet. This ratchet, this type of ratchet over there, because you haven't got much space between the starter motor. You haven't got much space between the starter motor and the bolt right behind the pump. So you need to have something that can access tight in there. Yeah, and that's what I've used. So initially I thought that bolt in there, that bolt and the one inside were part of it, but when I tried to wiggle this, it's willing to come out without moving those two bolts. So those bolts were not part of it. Those bolts were something else, for something else, and that bracket here stays. That means the pump can come off just by itself, yeah, without moving those two bolts inside. So you only need to move this one and remove the one at the back, and of course all the other bits that sit around here, and the compressor that sits down here. They've got like 4 major bolts that hold the compressor and hold the pump as well. So I've been struggling trying to figure out how to move and remove this pump, but now I think, yeah, I've figured it out. Yeah, that bolt behind, this one at the front, and you're done. Just 2 bolts, and the other bolts come off with the other bits and pieces as I showed you in the video. That is the plate where the compressor sits. That's the cover. I think it's bearing something that covers the on top of the whatever, and that's the fuel, the steering box pump that sits in front of the pump, the fuel pump. Yeah, this cushioning here, my noise cushioning or whatever, sits in between there at that bolt, and this one, this thing here also comes from that place. You have to take out this, take out this, take out the compressor, this one over here, and the plate where the compressor sits, and obviously the bracket that there's this bracket where the tensioner runs. That tensioner bracket is the same where the compressor that houses the compressor. It's a big one. You would think that you can easily take out the tensioner and the bracket without moving things, but you've got to, for you to be able to take out the tensioner bracket, you need to move the compressor, remove the compressor, remove the plate. The plate is, the part of the plate is the tensioner bracket, and that's the fan, and that's the that's the filter, and this housing, and that's the air intake manifold, and all the other bits and pieces that you've got to take out. Taking out the pump, I've taken out extra. Maybe you don't need to take out much, but I wanted to be able to view everything. I've taken out the radiator because I'm putting a new radiator anyway. I've taken off the belts because I want to see the proper timing and things. Yeah, and yeah, before in May I took this one, the alternator, for repair, so that one is done. So I'll be looking to find somewhere where they can service this pump here. You see, it's sounding good, it's willing to come out. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, Mitsubishi Pajero Montero, the Chief Tracker automobile. Still, yeah, hopeful, not hopeless. Yeah. Follow me, Chief Trekker, for the Arabian tour. This is the baby that is going to make it. It's gonna make it happen. Yeah. We've done lots of learning. I mean, since May, I've become a mechanic, I want to say. Yeah. And it's beautiful. But that's how you remove the pump. It took me about 2 days to figure that out because I couldn't find the correct video that demonstrates exactly how it's done. But in summary, that is the bolt you need at the front of the pump. That's the pump, and it's coming through here. Those are the gears of the pump through there, and then that's the spindle that aligns the pump through that plate, and the bearing thing, and that is the pump. And the bolt at the back, right behind the starter motor, are the 2 bolts you need after removing the injector, the compressor, and all the others. Yes, I've repeated things, but just because, yeah, I'm an amateur at making videos. Yeah, bear with me. There you go, enjoy.